Oh, Mr. Adler, you've tread a few thin lines in your life. You had death threats, I understand. You've always been outspoken.
When Salman Rushdie was condemned to death for the crime of having written a novel, I organised a reading at Conway Hall in London from that novel. And someone got my private telephone number. They called me and they said, the minute you begin to read from that book, you will die. So I said, look, why don't you meet me at Conway Hall before they're ready? Kill me then. It'll save so much time. I just couldn't take it seriously.
Wow. But that is frightening when people do that. There wasn't an ounce of fear?
No, I just wasn't afraid at all. And yet my religion is that I'm an Orthodox coward. But I wasn't afraid of that. And then later on, someone else sent me a very nasty letter saying they were going to bomb my next concert. And again, I couldn't take it seriously. I don't know why. One of Salman Rushdie's translators was stabbed to death.
Mm. It is frightening, though.
It is, of course it's frightening. But there's a kind of insensate violence. I could tell you a story, but it involves using one rude word, only once. And I don't think anyone would be shocked by it, and it might help a lot of motorists if I told it. May I tell it?
I think so.
Oh. She's pretty cautious today. She wasn't before. No, this is about, I was trying to get across Maida Vale in London before the light changed. I cut in on a lorry, which was bad driving on my part, but the light turned red. I had to stop. The lorry driver stopped. He got out of his lorry. He headed toward me. I have an Alfa Romeo Spider. It's a convertible. The top was down. I was an easy target. And as he got up to me, I don't know what made me do it. I say, 10 pounds if you can say whatever you're about to say to me without once using the word fucking. It's logical. Now, he said he actually thought about my offer. And then he said no. He said I couldn't do it.
I promise you, that was not part of the vocabulary I was expecting. You are a gentleman, a man of high moral grounds standing. That one, I didn't know you were going there.
I didn't know I was going to say it until I said it to the truck driver, to the lorry driver. But it worked, and I think that if motorists who are threatened by road rage could do what I did to that lorry driver, you might prevent an awful lot of violence. That's why I asked your permission.
Let's talk about Al Capone. I'm in so much trouble today. It's been really fabulous, ladies and gentlemen, working with you on Midday.
Terry, no, you're not going to get into trouble for that. I'm sure you're not, because I didn't use it in any shocking way.
No, we won't use it again.
No, we won't. I did ask your permission.
Yeah, yes, you did. And Dumbo here says... Okay, because we sort of have taken a bit of time with a few things, I must ask you to do the Al Capone story.
Oh, well.
For me, just before we go today.
And in a way, it kills it that you use his name, because I was 15 years old. I went to this party because everybody in show business, Al Capone used to give a monthly party for everybody who was playing in Chicago. And he came up to me because I was still in knickerbockers. I hadn't graduated to long trousers yet. And he said to me, you're kind of young kid to be at a party like this. And I told him I was on the bill at the Oriental Theater. He said, you're Jewish, ain't you? I said, yes. He said, I'm Catholic myself. I said, well, that's nice. But... So he said, do you go to synagogue? In fact, he used the Yiddish word. He said, do you go to shul? And I remember he used the Yiddish word. I said, no, I don't. He said, what's that supposed to mean? I said, well, we do 5 and 6 shows a day, and on a Saturday, when I'm supposed to go to synagogue, if I did that, getting up early to go to synagogue, I'd be too tired to do my shows. He said, that ain't nice, kid. I don't like to hear a good Jewish boy talking like that. Your mother and father traveling with you? I said, no, they're in Baltimore. But you write to them every day, huh? I said, well, no, not every day. Maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. He said, how do you like that? Look, kid, get your coat, go on home, go back to your hotel. This ain't no party for a kid like you. You sit down and you write your mother and father a letter, and this Saturday, I don't give a damn how many shows you got to do, you're going to go to synagogue like a good Jewish boy, right? I said, yeah. And I went to the comedian. I said, who was I just talking to? He said, you're kidding. I said, what's his name? He said, Al Capone. And, you know, I couldn't believe it. He was so nice to me. And he followed me out while I was getting my coat. And he told me that his right-hand man, Johnny Torrio, had shot and killed a man in State Street, they had 3 witnesses who would come to court to say they saw the murder, which would have meant the electric chair. And Capone said to me, I had to get to the jury, right? And I found a guy who for $25,000 would hold out for manslaughter. The jury was out 3 days. They came in with a verdict, manslaughter. I give the guy a banquet. And I said, I never thought you'd get away with it. How did you do it? He said, Mr. Capone, you don't know what a dumb bunch of mugs I had to put up with. They wanted to acquit him.
Lovely.
I love it. It is always a treat. Mostly always really a treat, except for that small little glitch in there. There's always a treat.
I think you'll find that people were not shocked by that. It was not done in any shocking way.
Only you could get away with it.
I think I could.
I think you, and you did. And you did. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of my very favourite people, Larry Adler.